Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about birth control. This was requested in my video that I did a little while ago, talking about these certain kind of like girl-friendly topics and just things that I think girls would like to hear about and discuss in the comments below, just their own opinions and thoughts on the topic. So like I said, today is going to be about birth control. Now this is my own opinions, thoughts, and experiences with this, but I don't want you to take this as there's no other way to look at this, there's no other options, all that kind of stuff is just very personal and subjective to each person. So I just wanted to offer my advice and my experience with you guys, so maybe it would help at least one girl. That is my hope. So I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right in. First of all, there are a lot of different, I guess, uses for birth control. I think the most obvious one that comes to people's mind is obviously to prevent getting pregnant, which yes, obviously it does that, but a lot of people also go on it for really painful cramps. It can kind of help ease those if you do have really painful period cramps around that time of the month, or if you have really irregular periods, it also can make them just come a little bit more regular, so you can kind of plan for when you're going to have a period. And then I know some of my friends actually went on it for the side effects of clearing up your skin, and I also know a friend that went on it because she went on Accutane, which is a very powerful acne medication, and I think in order to take that you have to also be put on birth control. It's just something that they make you do. If someone is on birth control, I would not judge them because you never know what they're using it for. There are other uses for it besides just being sexually active, but obviously the most known and common one is if you're going to be sexually active. And personally, I think if you are planning to do that, or you think that's something that may happen in the near future, it's definitely very, very responsible to go on birth control. You know, even if you're going to be using condoms and all that kind of stuff, you just want to protect yourself and make sure that you are safe and you can prevent pregnancy if that's not something that you want at the moment. I also had a lot of girls ask me how to get on it, what you need to do, and here in Texas you have to go to a doctor. I'm pretty sure it's like that everywhere else in the US. And I think there is a certain age where you can go where you don't have to have your parents' permission. I'm not completely sure about that, so I'll try to put in maybe some information. Obviously check within your state because I know it changes from state to state and everything like that, and there's a bit of like controversy and all that kind of stuff. But you basically have to go to a doctor's appointment with a gynecologist, and at least this is what I did, and you fill out a bunch of forms, just a lot of like medical history, like if you smoke, you drink. I believe it asks you if you have, like when your last period was, you know, if, like how your periods are, if they're really severe or they're kind of mild and don't bother you much. I think there's a little bit of like sexual questions on there, just kind of, you know, if there's anything abnormal going on with you, or if you feel any, you know, discomfort, whatever, that kind of stuff, because you are like at a gynecologist's office, they want to know all that kind of stuff. Obviously you need to be honest on your medical information because they are a doctor and they're going to help you, and a lot of the stuff that you put down in the papers that they give you will help you kind of choose the best method of birth control for you, because there are a bunch of different methods, which I was really shocked to hear about. I guess I think most people think of just the pill. I learned that there are shots that you can take, there is a patch that you can put on your body, there also is like a little ring that you can insert. Obviously they're the pills, but basically they're more than just one method, and it kind of does depend, I guess, on your lifestyle, what you're doing, what you kind of want to fit you best. So it's definitely really good, like I said, to just be honest on the paperwork, and then to find a doctor that you feel really comfortable with talking about, because it is a big decision and it is, you know, hormones and stuff going into your body. So you want to be able to ask your gynecologist questions, figure out the side effects, hear the differences on what she has to say, or he. Personally, I chose a female doctor and I really, really like her. She's pretty young, so at first I was a little bit worried that maybe she'd be judgmental or she wouldn't, you know, understand why I personally wanted to be on birth control and all that kind of stuff, but she definitely understood and she was really easy to talk to. I think that's so incredibly important. And if you go to a gynecologist and you are wanting to get on birth control and they make you feel in any way uncomfortable or upset or just, you know, anything that's negative, definitely try and go and find another doctor, because I know that there are some really great ones out there, and this is a big important decision, and you want to make sure you're with someone that you feel like you can completely trust as an adult and as a doctor and a supervisor for you while you're trying to decide what is best for you. So she also did tell me that getting the shot, which is like a shot that you come in, I think it's like, I'm not sure how many days you have to get it, but she said that a big side effect, at least that she has noticed in patients, that one does cause a lot of weight gain. Personally, that was something, you know, obviously that's kind of like, I guess, maybe something silly to be worried about, but for me, I had heard a lot of stories about, oh, if you go on birth control, you're gonna gain a lot of weight, it's really hard to lose the weight, blah, blah, blah. And I would say I definitely noticed some weight gain, although I'm not attributing it totally to birth control because I think obviously I've just kind of grown up, and to begin with, I've always kind of, I guess, struggled with my weight, just with, I can gain weight pretty easily, I think, and I can also lose it pretty easily in the same sense, which is kind of weird, but I just have to be focused on like either, you know, not gaining weight or purposely focus it like on losing it for something to change, I guess. And the biggest thing that I noticed was I didn't really have acne to begin with, so I didn't really notice any skin differences. I definitely felt kind of more moody and like irritable, I guess, when I would start taking the birth control and then when I would like be off it to have my period. And I noticed a little bit of an increased appetite, so I think obviously that would have contributed to the weight gain as well, and probably just not being as active as I was when I was younger, and, you know, kind of added to the time of my life of, you know, like going to college and going out and drinking and all that kind of stuff just put together, I think then did result in me gaining weight. And I kind of was like, oh, it's all because of the birth control, and I don't necessarily know how much of it is because of the birth control or how much, you know, is just because of me, and that just is a convenient thing that happened at the same time. But it's definitely something I am going to work on, and something that just for me is a side effect, but in the same regard, it's not a big enough side effect for me to not want to ever take birth control again. It's just something that I know has happened and I need to work on for myself. And I am going to be trying to do some like healthy recipes and stuff, and just, I guess, talking about my weight loss journey, because when I first went on birth control, I was at my most ideal weight I had ever been at, actually. And I think that was just kind of the phase I was going through in my life, I guess. I had lost some weight previously and I just felt really good. I remember the number on the scale when I went into the doctor's office, and that is definitely my goal number and my ideal weight, and I definitely have gained weight since then. Like I said, it might not all be because of the birth control, but I did notice like an increase in appetite and that I get a little bit more like tired, but I'm not sure if that's just like made up in my head or whatever. But that was something I wanted to touch on because a lot of girls have asked me, you know, did you feel like you gained weight? Did you feel that side effect? And I would love to hear in the comments from other girls if you've had that or you've noticed that. I know a lot of people that also have said they didn't gain any weight. I know people that have said they've lost weight on birth control. It all just depends on your body. Everyone's body is different. It's going to react differently to the birth control. So just kind of take that with a grain of salt. That's kind of my whole experience on it, but I know it could be different for different people. I'm going to touch really quickly on what they actually did in the exam, because that was something I was super nervous about, and I was like researching it and I was reading all these horror stories of people that went to the gynecologist's office, and it was so embarrassing and awkward and it hurt and all this kind of stuff. And it was kind of just like psyching me out and making me not want to actually go. They do an exam on you, but it's very quickly and it's very professional, and you shouldn't feel uncomfortable or you shouldn't feel weird or anything. You know, this is their job. This is like what they do all day. So I guess, you know, thinking about it in that way may make you feel a little less awkward about like being naked or whatever. And they're just doing it to make sure that you're healthy and that everything is working out well and that you're safe and everything. So just think about it that way. Honestly, it wasn't bad, and you can research more online like what an actual typical gynecologist visit includes, but I think it was just like an exam down there and then like a breast exam, and that was pretty much it. They don't do any of like the pap smear and that kind of stuff, I think, until you're a little bit older, or I think if you request it. So I think just to get birth control you don't have to do that like part of it. But I think that's pretty much it. I hope that this helped you guys and maybe calmed your nerves on the whole birth control topic. I know when I was researching it, I was trying to find people talking about it or giving honest opinions and advice, and it was kind of hard and just kind of scary, I guess, to read all the stuff about it. But ultimately for me, you know, I think it did cause me to gain a little bit of weight, but it's worth it in the end because it's how I wanted to protect my body and take care of myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please leave me comments below about your opinions, thoughts, and any advice you have on this topic. I would love to read them, and I think other girls really find it helpful as well. Bye everyone!